Hey guys, it's me, Travis with PlayerProps.ai. In November, I asked my community, what other things outside of betting, outside of anything sports betting related, do you have interest in seeing in terms of video content? And a vast majority, almost every single one of you, said you wanted to see something along the lines of life hacks or now that we have all this extra money from using playerprops.ai, what do we do with it in terms of like investments? So there's so many things under the sun that we can cover with this. I just want to call it life hack thing that I wanted to start kind of doing a weekly video series or almost weekly video series where I kind of go over things that some tricks that I've learned along the way that can definitely elevate your life outside of sports betting. So episode 1 here of what we're going to be calling this is Beyond Bets. That may change. I like life hacks. Maybe it's Beyond Bets life hacks. I don't know. We're going to figure out the title as we go. But this is episode 1. And what I want to cover here is how I've been traveling for free essentially almost every year for the last 15 plus years. And so that's kind of what we're going to go over here. I have it pulled up on screen, so I do the mobile app thing as we normally do with our shows, but I wanted to pull up this specifically because this is the card I've been using for the last, I want to say I feel like it's been 15 years. So I don't know if this is considered a life hack, but there are things that you have to pay on a monthly basis, regardless if you want to or not. Mortgage, rent, utility bills, groceries, gas, car payments, whatever it may be. There are things that are guaranteed monthly expenses. If you pay your guaranteed monthly expenses using a bank account or debit card, you are costing yourself free vacations. Now, there are scenarios like with mortgage payments, for example. It's very difficult, if not near impossible, to set up mortgage payments using a credit card because those type of things kind of demand being tied to bank accounts and not directly to credit cards. So there are some things where you can't use a credit card for, but there are trillions of things you can use a credit card for, and you should be using a rewards card for that. So let's just say I'm pretty sure it's like 15 almost exactly years ago that I got this first card. So what I saw was I go, wait a second. So if we can pay our gas, our groceries, utilities, all this stuff under the sun with a credit card, then we are going to earn these points, these rewards points using this card, doing something we were going to do anyway. And before I continue, it's very important that you only put on the card, which this goes back to all the financial literacy and bankroll stuff we do with betting, but it's very important that you only put on the card what you actually have. Like, the amount of people that put purchases on credit cards to use them as credit because they don't have the funds and they have to wait till like the bank stuff comes in. I advise against that. Unless you have a pretty proven system that works, I advise against that. So what I only do is you only put on the card the money that you already have in your bank account. So there's never an issue of not being able to pay off the card every month. When you get a credit card, whether it's this one or any other one, it's very important that you set up monthly automated payments. So you tie it to your bank account, and so every month on the due date, it just pulls from your bank account. So you never have to do it manually or like, oh, I forgot to pay it, and now you have all these fees and whatever. So only put on the card what you actually have in your bank account. So never try to charge things that are beyond what you currently have. Set it up for all the monthly expenses. Everything that you spend money on a month, all of the bills, anything associated to that concept, start using a card, which I'll go through the benefits of this one in a second, but use a card for that, and then make sure the card is on automatic payments pulling from your bank account. So you never run into the issue of, oops, I forgot to pay off the card. Just make it automated. Now, this particular card is probably the most popular card in North America. Maybe, I don't know about Canada, so let's just say United States. It's the most popular card in the United States, possibly Canada. I don't know. And there's 2 variations of it. which you see at the very top. I know it's kind of cut off a little bit. So there's the Chase Sapphire Preferred and the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Now, for the first 12, 13 years of this accumulation strategy, I've been using the Sapphire Preferred, but my wife and I, 2 or 3 years ago, upgraded to the Sapphire Reserve. Now, I'll go through like the nooks and the crannies of like the benefits you get with this, but this is the complete concept. You're paying things that are guaranteed monthly expenses, but because you're using these cards, you're accruing, and these points are called ultimate rewards points. So that's what this is a Chase Sapphire Preferred, Chase Sapphire Reserve. This website that I'm looking at right now is Sapphire, like the gem, sapphirechase.com, and that'll populate this page here. But the concept is pay what you're going to pay anyway. Every time you go to the gas station, use this card. Every time you go to the grocery store, use this card. Every time you need to pay anything online that allows you to use a credit card, use this card. And what you're going to see is the things that you're spending money on anyway, you start accumulating points for it. And then when you start talking with your friends, family, whoever it may be that you want to travel with, you'd be like, hey, what do you want to, let's start planning our 2026 vacation. What time do we have off? What do we want to do? You want to do a cruise ship? Chase has a lot of partners with cruises where you can use I think all the cruise lines actually, you can use Chase Ultimate Rewards points that you earn from paying what you're going to be paying anyway, and you could put it towards potentially a free cruise. But even if you can't pay off how much that cruise is worth point wise, you can put all of your points towards the cruise and just pay the difference in non-points in cash. But the amount of cruises I went on for free with this, like I used to cruise every single year using these points. It's not just cruises, it's like anything traveling. You can use it for hotel, you can use the points for airlines, you can use the points for there's an insane amount of things. Again, this is the most popular card and the most popular rewards program in the United States. So they have a lot of partners. And if it comes to a point where you have a lot of points and you just don't have the availability to travel for, let's say, 2 or 3 years, and you don't just want those points sitting, you can actually even convert those points to cash. So it still has a cash back option. So if you're like, hey, if you don't want to put these points to vacation, just put it back in your account and you can use it as cash. But the benefit to using it towards travel is there's like multipliers. So I think for Chase Sapphire Preferred, it's a 1.2x. So every 1 point, let's just say 1 point is $1. When you put it towards travel, it's as if you're putting $1.25 towards travel. So it just increases the value of those points when you put it towards travel. But there's an insane amount of things. So here's another example as well. So I'm recording this in December 2025. My wife, my best friend and his wife were planning a trip next year to go to Japan for maybe 2 weeks. And because every expense is going on this card, we're constantly accumulating points. Then we're looking at okay, if we're flying from this place in the US to this city in Japan, you want to get the most luxurious first class business seat possible. But these things are like $9,000. You don't want to spend $9,000. But you'll see, not only if you have a ton of points saved up, and you can apply points to that or pay the entire thing off in points. But there's another perk that I found, because I'm literally scheduling this, looking at this plan right now for this trip, is that they have these things called boosted rewards or rewards boosts. So it's hey, if you were to normally book this when it's not boosted, it would cost you 600,000 points. But because it's boosted on this flight, if you upgrade to business class, you actually save half of that. So it's 50% off. So it's the points that you're already accumulating anyway. You can get higher value things for all these promotions they have with different airlines, cruises, whatever it may be. So now let's kind of focus here on how, you already know how to earn points. I just told you just use the credit card. So SapphireChase.com is the site I'm looking at right now. The first thing we're looking at, this is the starter card. Depending on what you're able to do, this is probably where most people should start. And then when you're in a much better financial situation, go to this one, because this one's a little bit more expensive to have. So this one here, the first thing to pay attention to is right down here where it says $95 annual fee. So it's like, oh, so this actually costs money to have this card, to use this card to charge things to. Yes, it's $95. That covers the entire 12 months, and that is it. However, when we scroll down, you'll see how you essentially get that back automatically. So this is just like a sign-up bonus thing here. So if you go to SapphireChase.com and you look at this one and you apply, if you just make sure you read all like the fine print. There's a lot of stuff you can do to get extra points. So this says you get 75,000 bonus points. Like you don't have to spend money to earn. Well, let me rephrase that. You do have to spend money to earn that bonus points, but those bonus points are on top of the points you get for spending money. That's what I meant to say. So so it says new offer, 75,000 bonus points after you spend $5,000 on purchases in the first 3 months after opening. So as soon as you apply and as soon as you get your card, in the first 90 days, which is 3 months, if you spend $5,000 collectively on those 3 months, and just for math's sake, so I can break this down for you, if it's $5,000 divided by 3 months, that's about $1,600 a month. So now you have to ask, is your monthly expenses at least $1,600? Do you if you add up all your gas, your groceries, your utilities, your rent, if you are allowed to pay rent with a credit card, all of these things that you spend on a monthly basis, do you and maybe your partner, your significant other, your spouse, your roommates, whatever it may be, do you guys collectively spend at least $1,600 a month? Chances are in 2025, just based on everything you're spending at least $1,600 a month in just the normal expense stratosphere. If after you get this card, you do 16, it's like 16, 6, 7. So if you do $1,600 a month, first month, the second month, the third month, and collectively you hit at least $5,000 in purchases in those first 3 months after your account opens, you'll get the points on those $5,000 in purchases, but then they're also going to add $75,000 on top of that. And again, it's a $95 fee, but we're going to get to why this is such a no-brainer situation, which is why I signed up for it 15-ish years ago. So here, it's not just you getting a point per dollar spent. That's the base here in the bottom. You're guaranteed at least 1 point per dollar spent. So if you don't do any of these things here, which we'll go over in a second, and you only spend $5,000 on your first 3 months and non-boosted point stuff, you're going to get 5,000 points. And you're also going to get 75,000 points. So if you look at it this way, if you don't do any of these things, the 5x, the 2x, the 3x, the 3x, the 3x, you only do the 1x points, which means anything that's not this, you spend $5,000 in 3 months, you get 5,000 points plus 75,000 points. And if you're not doing the math already, that means you're getting $75,000 worth of points. Hopefully that's clicking for you. The bonus is $75,000 worth of points. You're going to get your 5,000 points if you just do non-boosted point stuff. If you just spend it on like things that aren't this, like I mentioned, it's infinite. It's everything that these things aren't. You get 1x points. So you spend 5,000 and you're getting essentially 80,000 points. The 5,000 for the 5,000 and then 75,000 for the boost. So you're starting as if you spent $80,000. Which of course you didn't, but that's the perk of signing up. So how to get more points. Anytime you go to a restaurant, it doesn't even have to be a restaurant. It can be like fast casual, like a Chipotle. It can be, I'm pretty sure all fast food drive-through stuff work. Anything where you're going to a place where their sole focus is feeding you. And they're registered as something that's food related, like a restaurant or a fast food place, whatever it may be. Every dollar you get 3x. So if you go and you go to a restaurant and you have a date and you're sitting down at this table, and let's say you spend $100 collectively, when all is said and done, you're getting 300 points for the $100. For travel, if you're booking a flight, for example, using the card, you'll get 2x points on that. If you go, so Chase Travel has something special, which you go like through your card portal and everything. And it's like, hey, if you book these things, not using points, if you book these things with money using your card, we'll give you 5x points. So if you spend $1,000 for you and your family on flights to go somewhere, and you go through Chase Travel to do it, you'll get 5,000 points. So that's how that works. There is some exclusive stuff where if you buy things on groceries online, as long as you don't buy groceries from Walmart, Target, or wholesale clubs, which I think is like Sam's Club or things like that, or Costco, if you do grocery purchases online that aren't that, then you'll get 3x. So those are online. That's a little online grocery perk. Streaming services, Netflix, Apple TV, Peacock, all that stuff. You sync your card to this, so every month that you pay for the streaming services, it pulls from the card or charges to the card. You get 3x on that as well. So that is how, like, these are things maybe you're not somebody who buys groceries online, so maybe not that one, but chances are you're paying for at least one streaming service right now, unless you're just staring at the wall every night, which I highly doubt that's what you're doing. Chances are you're eating food because you need food to survive. And I don't know about travel because that's always time dependent. Not everybody has all the time in the world to travel. I strongly recommend traveling at least once a year. You earn, I'm pretty sure it's illegal to not earn PTO. I actually don't know. I just said that out loud, but my assumption is that it's illegal to not earn some sort of vacation time if you're working at a 9-to-5 job. It's very important that you do a vacation every single year because you kind of need that reset. And that'll be different videos. Like I'll show you how to, I'll do a video of, how to book a cruise. This is kind of teaching you how to get a cruise for free, but I'll do all the tricks I've learned from the cruise stuff in a different video because I've been on a trillion of them. But yeah, it's very important to travel. So continuing going down here. So we told you, right? We told you earlier that this card costs $95 a year, which if you break that down by month, that's exactly $7.92 a month. As soon as you get approved for this card, they're going to give you a $50 travel credit. So anything that, after you get this account, anything that you have booked, whether it's a flight, a bus ticket, anything that constitutes as travel, and I'm pretty sure ride shares are included in this in terms of like the Ubers and the Lyfts, you get $50 credit. So let's say you take an Uber that's $50, you get a flight that's $100. This card will give you $50 back. So you're automatically getting $50 back of your $95. So now it's only $45, and that per month is $3.75. There's a 10% anniversary boost. So this says each account anniversary, you're going to earn bonus points equal to 10% of your total purchases the previous year. So every year, so let's say you sign up. So I'm recording this on December 8th. So let's say you sign up tomorrow, December 9th, and you get approved on the same day, just in theory. December 9th of next year, 2026, they're going to calculate all of the purchases you've made, which, remember, if you're doing this the way I'm telling you, you're putting all of your monthly expenses on here. They're going to take all of the purchases from 12 months, and on December 9th next year, they're going to add bonus points to that. So this example means if you spend $25,000 in your first 365 days, they're going to give you 2,500 bonus points. So it's just hey, thanks for using this card for a year. Here's points on top of the points we've already given you. And there's a bunch of other things here. Yeah, it's like I said, this is the most popular travel card, or not even travel card. This is the most popular card in general. But a lot of people use it for travel because you should be traveling once a year anyway. So if you're going to be traveling once a year, you should do it for free using these points. But yeah, this is the most popular credit card in United States. And I'll even click this right here so you can look at this. So this, what this said earlier, $200 additional partnership value. So we just mentioned you're going to get $50 back of the $95 you spent because it's going towards anything that's travel related and on your card. So any hotel stays or whatever it may be, when you travel, $50, boom. $200 in additional partnership value. Speaking of ride shares, I almost solely use Lyft, not only because more often than not, Lyft is a better price for wherever I'm going than Uber is, but you're going to get 5x points. So if you take just using whole numbers here, it's a very expensive Lyft, but if you take a $100 Lyft, you're going to get 500 points. They have a partnership with Peloton. You can do that. If you're a Dash Pass member on DoorDash, they have a good partnership with them as well. You'll get a free Dash Pass membership. Dash Pass, why is that a tongue twister? So there's a lot of bonus stuff you get as well. So this is why the $95 is a no-brainer. Now, let's look at the card that I'm using right now, which is the Chase Sapphire Reserve. So remember, this is the starter one. Depending on your financial position, this should be something, the $95 over, which is a 12-month period, should be something that you are able to get because, again, you're getting 50 of that back in travel credits, and the $45 just checks out to $3.75 a month. Now that I've mastered this for like 12 years, the last 3 years, I'm like, you know what? Let's upgrade to the Chase Sapphire Reserved. And so let's go over how this is different here. So this bonus is, instead of 75, you get 125. Now remember, the bare minimum dollar per point is you spend $1, you get a point. So this bonus is you're getting $125,000 worth of points if you spend $6,000 in the first 3 months. So the first card was if you spend $5,000. If you just spend $1,000 more, if you get this one, you're getting $125K. Another thing here, $2,500. That's the value of 125,000 points here. $2,700 in annual value through travel and lifestyle benefits. So they're saying this is the value of 125,000 points, like the cash value. So it would cost you $125,000 to get 125,000 points just on the 1-to-1 ratio. But when you have 125,000 points, you can cash it out immediately if you want to for 2,500. That's the base value of those points after you earn them. And then it says the stuff that the card gives you on top of the bonus points is roughly worth about $2,700 collectively. So both of those together, in the first year after you get this card, you can earn $5,000 in bonus stuff. Now, this is not $95 a year. This is a little bit more expensive. By a little bit, I mean kind of a lot of it. Instead of 95, this one's 795. And on top of that, for every person you have on the card, so let's say it's like you and your spouse are using the same account, which I strongly recommend doing that because it'll help you earn more points quicker. So instead of like my wife having her own Chase account and her earning points on her own thing and then me doing on my own thing, it's easier if you both use the same pot because your points will exponentially increase a lot quicker that way. So if you have one account, but you have a card under their name and a card under your name, that's considered an authorized user. And that's $195 each for every single person you add on there. So you went from $95 a month from this one to roughly $95 a year for this one to about $1,000 a year. So there's a pretty steep increase. But the $1,000 a year in the first year is countered by $5,000 in bonuses with the points and all the perks that it gives. Now, we went over the bonuses on how they work on the Chase Sapphire Preferred. If you go through Chase Travel on Sapphire Preferred here, you get 5x, but here you get 8x. If you book flights directly through Chase, like you call them up like, hey, I want to use I want to book like a flight to XYZ, and you use the card, you get 4x points. If you book hotels, you get 4x points. Instead of getting 2x on going to restaurants, you now get 3x. And so the perks are that you get a lot more points, multipliers for doing things that you're doing anyway. In the first scenario with the Chase Sapphire Preferred, which I won't click that right now because I want to keep going back and forth and make you guys dizzy. The travel credit for Chase Sapphire Preferred was $50. For this one, it's $300. So in the theory that there's two people that have a card, which, like I said, $195 per person on the account plus the $795 for the year. So let's just round it to $1,000 in general. You're going to get a third of that back. You're going to get $300 back to a travel credit. So as soon as you book $300 worth of travel expenses over the course of the year, they're going to pay that back to you. So now you're at $700. Then you get credits for stays with specific hotel chains that they have partnerships with. Something else, I'm going to go back here and click. So here's, you're getting 125,000 points. If you make sure that when you apply for a credit card, you make sure you have to get the bonus. It's so beneficial, it's crazy. So if you're not in a position where you're like, Maybe February, March, April, I can spend $5,000 or $6,000 in that time in those 3 months, but December, January, February, I can't. Don't sign up for it now. You want to make sure you get that bonus. So sign up for it when you know in the 90 days after you get approved, you can knock that out. $300 annual travel credit, as I mentioned. You get credits for staying with certain hotel chains. Priority Pass. This is extremely awesome. I milk the crap out of this. Let me explain this to you. A Priority Pass, aside from having this card, there's something called Priority Pass. You know when you go to an airport and you walk by and it says like premium club only, or there's so many different names for it. Every name's different. Every airport's different. But essentially, every major airport in the world has some sort of club that you can go to. And if you've never been to a club, it's freaking awesome. You go to a club, you go to a private lounge in an airport, and there's like, it's almost, there's always going to be food available. It's not always like a bar, but the drinks, I think everyone I've went to, the drinks are free. So if you're like doing a morning flight, you can get like a free mimosa. If it's a late afternoon flight, get yourself a cocktail or a beer if you're someone who drinks adult beverages. But to get the pass to get into any of these around the world, and they're like all connected in terms of like this pass isn't just for private lounges in the US, it's for private lounges in all across the globe that is part of this whole premium pass thing. So anyway, it's $469. If you were to do it yourself, I want this pass, you pay $469 for the year. With this particular card, the one that costs $1,000 a year, minus the $300 for the travel credit, minus the credits for booking through certain hotels, you're also getting a $469 credit, which is what the cost of the Priority Pass membership is. If you fly at least once a year and you've never been to a private lounge, as soon as you get this card and you get into your first private lounge, you're never going to not want to go to a private lounge. So typically when you get to a hotel, when you get to a airport really early, you're like, oh, now I just have to sit at my gate for like 3 hours. I got through TSA like super quick. You have a 3-hour gap. But now you're like looking forward to having those gaps if you're able to get them anyway, because you're like, oh, I have 45 minutes or I have an hour and a half before my flight even starts boarding. If there is in your terminal that you're in, if there's a private club that has access through this thing that's called Priority Pass, just sit there, get yourself a cocktail, depending on what time of the day it is. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Get yourself a free snack, free food, and it's freaking awesome. So $300 in travel credit, $500 with certain hotels, $469 from getting a pass that lasts for 12 months that gets you into over 1,300 airport lounges worldwide. And I've been like, was it last year? My wife and I and a bunch of her family went to Ecuador, and in Ecuador, they have a private lounge in their airport. And like out of all the lounges I've been to in the US, theirs was like the most VIP and the food was awesome. So 1,300 airport lounges around the world you get access to. If you fly often, you fly at least once a year, milk the crap out of this. It's awesome. $300 in dining credit. So you're getting, again, like I said, the bill is pretty steep. The $1,000 for 2 people on the same card for this particular one. $300 here, $469 here, $500 back here, $300 in dining credits. So you get $150 back from January through June, and you get $150 back from July through December. So you get 2 different $150 credits. You actually get Apple TV for free. So Apple TV typically costs about $288 for the year. You're going to get that for free for having this. You get the free Dash Pass for a year. That's $120. There's a $300 worth of promos you get for syncing your accounts. You get $300 in StubHub credits. You get $120 in Lyft credits. And again, partnership with Peloton, $120 in Peloton credits. So even without the bonus points, you're in the first year, when in the theory where there's 2 people on the account, each person has their own card with their own name on it, but it's the same account they're sharing, $1,000 collectively, you're automatically getting the value of $2,700 back if you milk the crap out of these things, which you definitely should. And then not even including the 125,000 points. So when I was calculating this, I was like, wait, this is going to be a lot more expensive for us But what we get back for how much we travel and how much we do things and how much money we spend on bills and things like that, I'm like, oh, let's just do this. And we're going to like insanely multiply how many points we were averaging on an annual basis just using the Chase Sapphire Preferred. I hope that this episode 1 was of value to you. I have not used a debit card for the last 15 years. Once I've kind of mastered how to pay for everything with either of the Chase Sapphire, whether it's the Preferred or the Reserve we have now. The only reason I've ever used a debit card in the last 15 years is to go to an ATM and pull out cash. That is literally it. You should not be using a debit card for anything outside of withdrawing cash from an ATM. If something has the ability to pay with a card, pay with a card. Again, do not get this card and do not get a $15,000 limit and you only have $5,000 in your bank account and then go spend $15,000 in things. No, it's the same thing as we teach you on the betting side. You could only on the betting side we teach you only bet with money you can afford to lose. You're not betting with money here. But to keep yourself in a space where you're not putting a ton on credit cards that you can't pay off, only put on credit cards what you know is already in the bank. Set it up to automatic payments, and it's essentially a set it and forget it. If you remember those oven infomercials, set it and forget it. You set everything up, you automate everything, you automate the payments so you never get charged interest. And you're like, oh, what's the interest charge? Avoid interest charges. Even if the interest charge was 100%, which I think it's like 22.5 or I don't know. It doesn't matter. The interest charge only is effect if after the payment period, if it's not paid off in full, then the interest charge gets associated. So if you spend $5,000 this month and then it registers in your account and it says, oh, your statement's $5,000. The only way you get charged interest on the $5,000, and this is how all credit cards work, is that you don't pay it within that period after it becomes a statement. You have essentially 30 days to pay it off for zero interest, 0% anything extra. So I'm not sure if that's something that I don't know what everybody knows, and I don't know what everybody doesn't know. But in case you didn't know that, you don't have to worry about interest if you pay off the card in full every month. So that's why I said set up the automatic payment. Because even if this was 1,000% interest rate, it doesn't matter if the card's paid off in full, you pay nothing. So there's no difference in how much you're spending besides the $95 here and the $1,000 roughly here. That's the only thing different because you're paying this off monthly by setting up the automated payments. And so what you'll see is when it comes this time next year, like let's plan a trip for next year. Let's pull up the points of the card that Travis told us how to use. So you pull up your account and you're like, oh man, we have on top of the 125,000 points, we've spent $50,000 in expenses and everything over the course of the year. We now have 175,000 points. What can we put the 175,000 points to? Well, I'll tell you, it'll definitely cover an entire cruise. And it'll cover a lot of things. That's a lot of points. And then it just keeps earning and keeps earning. This, ladies and gentlemen, is how you travel for free every year. You use these cards, whichever one that's best fits your situation, and then you just accumulate points and you put that towards travel. But again, it's not like the points can only be used towards travel. You can use them towards an infinity amount of things. And if you can't even find something to use it for, you can even click a button and get it paid back to you. So hopefully that was an interesting, helpful first episode. Again, SapphireChase.com is how you get the bonus points. So don't just Google search it because it's not going to have the same bonus point structure. SapphireChase.com. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful. Hopefully it was for you guys. And this is the first episode of Beyond Bets, how to travel for free every stinking year. See you guys.